Hey, Algebra 2, today we're going to talk about geometric means. We did arithmetic means before. It's how do you get from one term with a couple or however many they want to put missing. So when we had 3, comma, space, 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 and then whatever, 12 right here. How do you find these 3 in the middle? So we're going to be doing the same thing but with geometric. So it says find 3 real geometric means between negative 2/3. So we have negative 2/3 and negative 54. Oops, negative 54, not 52. Well, we have to use our formula here. Remember, with the geometric sequence, we said a sub n is equal to a sub 1 times r to the n minus 1. So this is what we're going to use. Well, we know this is our first term, this is our last term, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terms. So we're just going to plug straight into our formula in order to find what our ratio is. Okay? So we plug straight into the formula. Negative 54 is equal to our first term, negative 2/3, times r to the n minus 1. 5 minus 1 is 4. Okay? And now we need to get r by itself, so we're going to multiply both sides. Make that a little smaller. We're going to multiply both sides by negative 3/2. Sorry, that's like all squeezed in there. So we always multiply by the reciprocal when we're trying to get rid of a fraction that's multiplied. Here, negative times negative is a positive, so we can get rid of those. 54 divided by 2 is 27. 27 times 3 is 81. 81 is equal to r to the 4th. So here, we need to get r by itself. So we need to get that 4 out. So we're going to take the 4th root. Okay, the 4th root. Now the 4th root of 81, since we're dealing with an even number here, when we take the 4th root, we have to put positive negative. And the 4th root of 81 is 3. Because 3 to the 4th power is 81, negative 3 to the 4th power is 81. Okay? So when you're dealing with an even index, you're going to get positive negative on the other side. Okay? Just like square root, we would have ended up with positive negative. So we're actually going to have 2 sets of answers for this. Okay? We have 2 sets of answers because we have your ratio is 3 or your ratio is negative 3. So I'm going to put my first set of answers on top, second set on bottom. So negative 2/3 times 3, negative 2/3 times 3, those cancel out, you get negative 2. Now negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. Negative 6 times 3 is negative 18. Okay, so we have, that's one set of answers. If your ratio is 3, that's how we get that. And negative 18 times 3 is negative 54. But if your ratio is negative 3, notice negative times a negative is a positive 2. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Negative 6 times negative 3 is positive 18. So we actually have 2 sets of answers. This one stays negative the whole time. This one changes symbols each time. Okay? So if I were to ask what the answer is, you would circle both of these. 2 sets of answers. Okay? Alright, our next problem. Just going to grab down here our next problem. Alright, find the 2 real geometric means between 18 and negative 16/3. Now, when you're just trying to find the geometric means between 2 numbers, okay? Oh, we're not there yet. We have let me just start that over, okay? 2 geometric means. So 1, 2, and then negative 16/3. So we're going to handle this exactly how we did this last problem. But you're going to notice our answer is going to be a little different. A sub 1, A sub n, 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. So we can plug into our formula, which says a sub n, so negative 16/3, is equal to our first term times our ratio, which we don't know yet, to the n minus 1. So 4 minus 1 is 3. Now, if you were to, sorry, let me rewrite that. If you were to divide by 18, or multiply by 1 over 18, okay, to get that out of there, notice here, you can reduce. So 16 and 18, I can divide both of those by 2. So that becomes 8, this becomes 9. I'm left with r cubed is equal to negative 8 over 9 times 3 is 27. Okay? And again, we need to figure out what r is, not r cubed. That doesn't quite help us. So we need to get this 3 out of there. So we're going to take the third root. Okay? We're going to take the third root here. Well, on this problem, notice we can have a negative underneath because it's a third root. When you're dealing with a third root, since it's an odd index, you don't have to do positive negative. Well, not just you don't have to, you shouldn't do positive negative. Okay? Here, if it's an odd index and you have a negative underneath, your answer is going to end up negative. The third root of 8 is 2. The third root of 27 is 3. So notice here on the ratio, we only have one answer, negative 2/3. Here, we had a positive 3 or a negative 3. So when you have odd index, you only have one ratio. When you have an even index, you have two ratios. So 18, so let's find these other two terms. 18 times negative 2/3. Notice 18 divided by 3 is 6. So 6 times negative 2 is negative 12. Now we do 12. Negative 12 times negative 2/3. Negative times negative is positive. 4, or I already said the answer. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. Now if you want to check your work, you can also do that where you can try 8 times negative 2/3. Now this doesn't reduce, so you multiply across. 8 times negative 2 is negative 16 over 3. So these are your two geometric means between 18 and negative 16/3. Alright? So I don't know why I just erased that. Let's move on. Our next problem. Find the geometric mean between 2 and 6. So here, we're just going to try to find the one geometric mean between two numbers. Alright. So, we have 2, one number in between, and 6. So again, this is our a sub 1. N is 3. 3 terms, 1, 2, 3. A sub n is equal to 6. This is a sub n. So 6 is equal to our first term times our ratio to the n minus 1. 3 minus 1 is 2. Here we divide by 2. So we get r squared is equal to 3. And here again, when you take the square root, okay, technically you don't need the 2 there. When you take the square root, since it's an even index, this is going to end up positive root 3. The ratio is equal to negative root 3. Okay, plus minus, or you can just write them both out. So you have two ratios. So therefore you're going to end up with two answers. So 2 times root 3 is just 2 root 3. 2 times negative root 3 is negative 2 root 3. So you have two separate answers here. Okay, again, that invisible 2 here. Whenever you're dealing with an even index, you're going to end up with two different ratios, the positive version and the negative version. So there we go. Those are our two answers. Alright, let's finish with our last problem. The positive geometric mean of two numbers is 6, and one number is 9 more than the other number. Find the two numbers. Well, to find the geometric mean just between two numbers, we're going to use this right here. Okay? So this is the geometric mean. Why don't I just make more space? So this is the geometric mean, between two numbers, okay? Should I write that? Between two numbers. You're going to take x, y, multiply them, x and y, so the two numbers, multiply them, and then root the answer, okay? Well, this is actually a word problem, so we're going to have to set up some equations here. First of all, it says the positive geometric mean of two numbers is 6. So since this is the geometric mean, okay, this is what you're going to be using, it says is 6, so equals 6. One number, let's call that x, let's call this one x. The other, let's call that y. So one number x is 9 more than the other, okay? 9 more than the other. Find the two numbers. And just like we did with the arithmetic sequence, when we did the arithmetic mean between two numbers, we're going to substitute. We need to substitute that in for x. So now we have y plus 9 times y is equal to 6. Well, we don't quite like the roots there, so we're going to get rid of a square root by squaring both sides. So that crosses out, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute this y. So I get y squared plus 9y is equal to 36. And now, we're going to get everything to one side. Y squared, y to the first, no y. Let's move that 36 over. And now I can factor this into two parentheses. So y plus 12, y minus 3. Again, because we know it's going to be opposite symbols, because that's minus. And factors of 36 have a difference of 9, 12, and negative 3. So our final answer, not final answer, but our next step, is we put y is equal to negative 12, and y is equal to 3. Remember, we switch the symbols when we say what the variable is equal to. But notice here, in the original problem, it says the positive geometric mean. So let's just get rid of our negative answer. So this is the only one we're looking for. Okay, so y is equal to 3. But that only gives us one number, so we go back to the top. We know y is equal to 3. And we're going to plug in here. So if you were to plug 3 into here, you get x is equal to 3 plus 9, which is 12. So these are our two answers. And just to check your work, just to see if you're right, plug them back into here. X times y, 12 times 3, 36. The square root of 36 is 6. There you go. Alrighty. So that's how you find the positive geometric mean between the two numbers. Square root of x, y. So again, on these word problems, you're going to have to set up two equations and then substitute in. Alright? So that's how we deal with geometric means. Good luck.